Great to be here. My name is Morten Helberg. I'm CEO and co-founder of OrganoClick. So nice to be in front of an audience again after having looked into a camera for 2 years. So really nice and really fun to be here. Well, as was presented, I met 2 Swedish professors 16 years ago. They had already in the mid-90s started to understand that this would become a problem. Plastic waste and petrochemicals that have been the traditional way of producing chemistry and materials since the mid-19th century. They started to see that this will be a problem. Today, about 8 million tons of plastics are released into the ocean every year. And what they were looking at was, are there things in nature that you can use to replace these plastics and petrochemicals? This is a field of science called biomimicry. We're looking at natural chemical processes like what is the chemistry behind a tree becoming so strong, or why does some leaves become water repellent, or why does some trees burn less good than other trees? What are the natural molecules that is creating this type of properties in plants and trees? From this research, and when we started the company, we really had a strong mission. We wanted to replace plastics and toxic chemicals with bio-based solutions. And when I met these 2 professors, they had developed a technology which we call modification of cellulosic fibers. That is, we can click on different bio-based molecules to cellulose, which are the base in paper, in textiles, in wood, and click on molecules that gives new properties. Depending on what we click on, we can get properties like water repellents, fire retardants, durability to rot fungus, or improved strength. And we use technology called organocatalysis. This is a chemical process where we use small molecules derived from fruits or derived from different plants. And this organocatalysis was actually awarded the Nobel Prize last year. And we can say that we're pretty proud that OrganoClick was one of the first companies in the world to start using organocatalysis in commercial applications. And now, 16 years after we started the company, this was awarded the Nobel Prize. From this research that we started 16 years ago, we have developed a number of different products and different product areas where we use this core technology. We have a way of treating wood in order to give it fire retardants and improved durability, where we replace biocides and heavy metals used in traditional impregnation. We have another area which we call biocomposites and biobinders, where we use natural biopolymers that replace plastic polymers in non-woven and technical textile materials. So we're replacing plastic binders. That is the way of creating, for example, a napkin that you can find in restaurants. They are made of cellulosic fibers and plastic polymers today. I'll talk more about that later, but this is something that we are replacing. And finally, we are making textile waterproof or water repellent by replacing fluorocarbons or PFAS molecules, which is now about to be banned in the European Union. This has been they are hormone disruptive and cancerogenic, and this is something that one have realized during the last 10 years, and now they are being banned. And we have a technology to replace them with biodegradable molecules. Today then, 16 years later, we are a growing chemical technology company. We have our headquarter and our production facility and R&D lab up in northern Täby, Arning Industriområde, if someone of you know where it is. There we have 5,000 square meters with a production capacity of 10,000 tons per year. Now we are upgrading it. We have invested in a new production line, so we will double the capacity to 20,000 tons of our chemistry per year. And last year we had revenues of 110 million SEK. So been growing steadily during the last 10 years since we launched our first product in 2012. Our business is organized into 4 different business areas. We have the functional wood area, where we are targeting the wood industry and the building industry. We have what we call the green coating and maintenance area, where the textile impregnation product is located. And then we have the biocomposites and non-woven and technical textiles, where we are targeting industrial companies like non-woven producers, specialty paper producers, and technical textile producers. We have developed 4 different technologies that we can use on all different materials: water repellents, mechanical strength, fire retardants, and rot protection. So this is the, let's say, the red line of the technology is the cellulosic fiber, and that we can use our different technologies on the materials where cellulosic is a natural component. Yeah, this is an example of our customers that we are working with today. The first area, non-woven and technical textiles and biocomposites, are, as I mentioned, targeting industrial customers. Duni was an agreement signed with last year, and there we are about now to replace the plastic binders that they are using in their napkins and in their tablecloths with our bio-based binder solutions. Just 1 month ago, we announced the new collaboration with Ahlström-Munksjö, where they are also producing specialty paper and non-woven, and they are now about to replace also plastic binders in their different products with our bio-based binders. Sharpcell is another Finnish non-woven producer. Baux are producing sound-absorbing panels that are used on walls, and they are using then biofibers, which we are binding together with our binders. And Fred Alredens is Nordic's largest producer of burial coffins. They are also using our binders in their material to bind the cellulosic fiber together in their coffins. So quite broad range of different customer groups, but we are using the same type of product from us, the same technology, to bind fibers together in these areas. Within the functional wood and the green coatings and maintenance area, we are mainly targeting resellers because these are more consumer-based products, but also professional users. But we are strong in targeting the building industry and working with most of the building suppliers in Sweden, also growing a lot in other parts of Europe. And for Organotex, we've been growing extremely well during the last year, and are now included in most sport retailers in Sweden, and are also growing a lot in Norway, Finland, the Netherlands, and Denmark. If you go into what has happened during the last year in our industrial area, we signed a contract with Duni, which is worth approximately 30 million crowns per year, when we have scaled it up to full scale, which is expected to happen in the second half of this year. So this is something that we are ramping up right now together with them. In February, we signed a deal with Ahlström-Munksjö, which is then we are now coming into agricultural textiles. So this type of textiles that you are putting out on fields, but also in their customer Ellepot, they are making flower or plant pots. That is this type of material that you use around plants that you put into the ground, and this is for industrial growth. So this is an area which is quite big actually, and this is a reasonably big customer of Ahlström-Munksjö. We have also 10 customer projects in production test, about 10 different customers, and these are among the 20 biggest producers of non-woven and specialty papers in the world. 2 of them are close in also being new products launched, so hopefully we can go out with some more news regarding that shortly. And in order to grow this segment, we have now also invested in a new production line which will have a capacity of 10,000 tons per year, and this is being built up right now, and we plan to take it in operations in Q2. Within the green coatings and maintenance area, we have then, this is a consumer brand, so this is used for re-impregnation. It's like an aftermarket for textile impregnation. Here we have sold, this first product was launched in 2018. Last year we also launched a shoe care program. We are here replacing the traditional way of making textiles waterproof, which is by this PFAS and fluorocarbons. And here we've been growing very well during the last year. We more than doubled the revenues in this product segment last year. We signed the new reseller agreements with XXL, Stadium, and Herx, adding about 200 more resellers. And for that expansion, we invested in a new production line for filling bottles, because this is really the biggest part in production, filling all the bottles, because we're shipping out thousands and thousands of these bottles all the time. And this was also the biggest problem for us last year, if I go into the problematic part, because this filling line became late. The delivery was late due to the COVID factory that was affected by COVID. So we had to stand and fill all these bottles for the new customers manually. So we had to take in half an army of people to fill bottles last year. And that was very costly for us. But now that is solved, that problem. Within the functional wood area, we are now launching a new generation technology that is replacing the old technology. This is something. This is really to be able to compete even more against traditional pressure-impregnated wood technology, which have a lot better durability compared with the old technology, and also easier maintenance. Here we also signed an agreement with Base Timber UK to expand our business into UK. This is now being ramped up during Q1 and Q2. And the German market, which we were entering 2 years ago, grow really, really well. So this is also what we are focusing on a lot, to continue the growth in Germany. If you look at economic development, this is a picture which have two sides, really. We have been growing steadily every year for the last 5 years, as you can see. We were actually growing a little bit better last year, but, and this is the big but, we had two major problems last year. First of all, raw material prices. They were increasing heavily last year. We had some of our raw materials were increased in price with more than 100% during 1 year. And this affected our gross margin, as you can see here on the line for gross margins a lot. We have had a positive trend for gross margins during 4 years, and we expected this to continue because we are changing the product mix. But due to the fact that raw material prices increased so much, we were always like 1 quarter after to increase prices to our customers. So it's been like one of the major things we did last year was increasing prices to customers all the time, because we got new price increases from our raw material suppliers every quarter. And that fact, and also the fact that this production line became late, so we had to use a lot of manual labor to produce the bottles, made that the EBITDA, which we expected to be positive last year, if you look at the trend, it was very close to being positive. It actually decreased. And this is what feels really good. In Q4, we were finally back on track with the gross margins again. We had been pushing up prices every quarter, and then when the prices started to level out during the autumn, we could get back on track. So we increased the gross margins in Q4 compared with Q4 2020, which felt really good, because we have been worse every quarter, in particularly during Q2 and Q3. So now we feel that we are in a good position. All prices have gone up, as you can see with the inflation, of course. I mean, we see that because we are buying in raw materials like molecules, and that is where the whole inflation starts, actually. Just to mention an example, which is a small part of the inflation for food, but citric acid, which is a component that we use quite a lot, increased with 300% last year. And that is the main component for creating this type of taste, which is a little bit sour in all foods as well. And that was a 300% price increase. And we use that quite a lot in our products as well. So this is the reality when you're looking at raw materials from really this small component side. So I said in June, we will have a big inflation in food prices coming up, because we saw all these small molecules going up in price heavily. But now, finally, we are back on track here, and that feels very good. Looking at the outlook of 2022, we expect OrganoTex to continue its fast sales growth. We see very good sales here in the beginning of 2022. So here we don't see that this will level out at all, the sales increase that we have here. This is also very good for us because this is one of the products where we have good above average profitability. So this is something that is driving up our gross margins for the whole group. One of the key things that we're working on, of course, is ramping up the production to Duni and to Ahlström and Munksjö, but also finalizing the two most advanced projects that we have that are in late stage. They are all of these projects are in the same level as the Duni deal. So this is the same type of approximately the same type of amount that we can sign on these deals. And this is, of course, when you see this deal that you signed with Duni, it's a 5-year agreement, so it's long-term deals that you sign with this type of companies because they want to have stability in their supplies as well. For the functional wood segment, we are switching over to the new technology. This is a very important thing for us. We will phase out our old technology and phase in the new technology, but also continue with the international expansion, in particular in Germany and the UK. The UK is completely virgin market for us. We have a good distributor agreement there with Base Timber UK, which is have a good sales company. This will be really interesting to see where that leads. And of course, this new production capacity that we're adding, that is an extremely important thing for us in order to grow further. Because one factory which we are working towards, like the Duni factory, they are using in amount of between 2,000 to 4,000 tons per year of binder. So it's quite large amounts that we need to produce and sell to these customers. So in order to add more customers, we need to add more production capacity. We also believe that the product mix and also the price adjustments that we have made during the last year will now start to make the gross margin grow again, like it did in Q4. So we expect that to continue now during this year. And we now also have a plan, and we believe this will work to keep the OPEX at a steady level from Q4 last year. So all this included will, of course, create much better profitability. This is the goal for us during this year. So with that, I thank you very much for listening.
So, Mårten, there is much awareness now about the PFAS that you talked about, the hormone-disturbing chemicals that are in lots of products. And, for instance, there are in food containers.
Yes.
So how about the possibility, and would you look at the prospects of moving into the segment of replacing, for instance, fast food, well, the hamburger packages, some of them have those hormone-disturbing substances. Yeah. It's a huge market.
Absolutely, and here I then want to talk about our collaboration with Pulpac that we announced last year. Pulpac is very innovative, or now also fast-growing company making 3D-shaped packages or machines for 3D pressed packages, which is called dry molder technology. And they are working, for example, together with OF Packaging, AR Packaging, and other packaging companies. And there we are using our technology to just replace PFAS for food packaging barriers. So we are involved in that field as well.
Excellent news. We don't want to eat out of packages that are a threat to our health, right? You mentioned the Nobel Prize that is behind this innovation. How about competition and other companies using these innovative techniques?
I have to then look into the various segments. I think where we have the least competition is within the bio-based binders for non-woven and for specialty papers. There we are completely alone in offering 100% biodegradable and bio-based binder solution for non-wovens. And this we get confirmed from all customers that we're working with. No one else is doing what you're doing. You seem to have been very early in this. And yes, this is the truth. We started developing this already in 2008.
Way before the Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
Excellent. So the next step, next big step for you this year, you mentioned that you were sort of over, you estimate that you're over the hump with the challenge here with that you just pointed out. So what are you looking forward to the most during 2022?
Ramping up supply of our binders and looking at that's also the continuous development of organotechs, which is also doing very well right now.
Well, best of luck. And thank you for coming.